I am in Balkhash, the copper capital of Kazakhstan, located on the northern shore of Lake Balkhash. In 1928, rich deposits of copper ore were found here and the settlement began to grow. The main attraction of these places is one of the largest lakes on Earth, Balkhash. It is unique not only for its beauty. The lake is divided into two parts by a narrow channel. In the western part, the water is practically fresh, and in the east, it's salty. There are about 20 kinds of fish: Balkhash perch, carp, oriental bream, zander, and also snakeheads. Large, delicious, but dangerous fish. The fishing industry flourishes here since the 1930s and supports the economy of the region. In addition, local fishermen like talking about their most successful catch and willingly share their special recipes of local fish soup. After speaking with them, I came up with my own recipe. Balkhash markets are not very different from markets in other cities of Kazakhstan. However, there is an excellent selection of fish. By the way, it is available not only at the market or in the store, but also directly from fishermen, freshly caught. Here on the counters, local hostesses display their fish and meat patties, which they've made themselves, canned food, and other homemade delicacies. Friends, good day to you all. We're back from Balkhash to our kitchen. So today, just for you, we have prepared a stunning recipe for fish soup. This is the author's recipe. We will cook in a special way. The broth will be rich with several kinds of fish, namely Volga zander, bream, and snakeheads. The dressing will be made from vegetables, and we will also add curd and ginger. Guys, fish soup will be just divine. Now I need to clean our fish, and I'll start with Volga zander and bream. First of all, I'll cook them in broth, and then I'll strain it. Lastly, I'm adding our snakehead. It's a very meaty and tasty fish. So let's start with the cleaning. I will not remove the scale from the Volga zander. Generally, I will cut it and I'll remove the guts. By the way, the broth needs filtering so that the bones do not spoil our dish. At Balkhash, I have met local fishermen with whom I had a chance to talk about the fish soup. Everyone has their own recipe. Someone add a shot of vodka. Others burn a piece of wood and dunk it then into the broth, thereby giving the broth a rich taste of smoke. But today, we will not cook according to traditional recipes. Today, I promise to prepare the author's fish soup for you. The fish soup will be saturated. It will be fishy, veggie, with a slight note of curd. There are recipes where we add cream to the fish soup or sour cream, but with curd, the dish gains a unique taste. Bream was cleaned in advance, and by the way, we removed the scale because it is large, and once we cook it, it will go into the broth. This will not happen with Volga zander, so we'll remove its scale later. Now I'll prepare a broth for our fish soup. By the way, today we also continue to cook outdoors. The weather is fine today, birds are singing, there is a light breeze, just beautiful. Where is the most delicious fish soup cooked? Well, of course, either while fishing or in the open air. So as I promised, the fish soup will be the most delicious. We put our fish to cook, and now for a rich broth we will need vegetables. However, note we will be boiling the vegetables and then remove them from the broth, which means they will not be in the fish soup. So I need a carrot, 1 onion and ginger. I'll peel the onion, remove the skin and make small incisions on the onion so that more juice comes out into our broth. The basis of any fish soup will always be onions and carrots. Also, I will need large spices, bay leaves and peppercorns. Guys, without a peppercorn, the fish soup is not the fish soup. Therefore, prepare the spices in advance. What does it mean to make small incisions? Just cut our onion into 6 to 7 pieces lengthwise. Carrot. I will not clean it. I washed it full well and just cut off the top. We will add just this carrot to our broth. Ginger. I think that piece will be enough for us. We'll also make small cuts and then we'll remove it from our broth. Perfect. Our vegetables and spices are ready. I will add them now to our first broth. The first broth is the one that we cook on Bremen Volgasender. Then we'll remove all this and leave the crystal clear broth only. I added spices and the water begins to boil. Therefore, it's time to prepare a vegetable dressing. Let's call it the sauce for our fish soup. For our dressing, we need tomatoes, and if you have fresh garlic, it's even better. I will use butter and curd. We need only 4 to 5 soft balls of curd. Curd is fresh, so I can easily place it and add it to our dressing. I'll start with tomatoes. I will rub tomatoes on the grater. For this, I need half of the tomato and a grater. I rub it on a large hole side or on a slicing side. Tomato skin will not be added to the fish soup. This slice of tomato is perfectly rubbed. From the broth, which is now being prepared, we will remove all the fish, carrots and onions, as I said, the second broth. The second broth will be saturated. We'll add our dressing and snakehead fish into it, but you can add any fish with few bones you like in the second broth. It can be red fish, white fish. I rubbed the tomatoes. Now I need to peel the garlic. I need only 2 or 3 cloves, and I will also rub it on the grater. You can rub garlic on a small or large grater, as you like. If you do not want to come across garlic in your broth, then rub it on a small grater. If you're not against big pieces of garlic, then rub it on the big one. We will add a flavor, and we do not want garlic in our broth. Our dressing is very similar to cobra. Many homemakers know how to cook, rub tomatoes, garlic and pepper. There is something common, but this is not a dressing for the fish soup. I'm done with garlic and tomatoes. You can grate curd, but I have such a fine hatchet, and I'll squeeze it and cut it a little. I think curd is not only an excellent product, but also a delicious dressing that you can take with you to nature. It does not go off. Now I'm going to add butter. This method I borrowed from Estonian culinary specialists when they cook soups. The fish soups, they add butter and cream. However, today we will improve their recipes a little by adding butter and, as you already know, curd. It will be delicious. You yourself decide how much fat has to be added. Today I'm putting 2 tablespoons of oil. I will not salt the dressing because later we will salt our broth to taste. We stir the dressing and let it brew so that all the spices go off, and the curd melts a little. Also for the butter to spread along the broth. One more thing, if your fish is not fat enough, then you can compensate it with butter. Such fish soup you can try only in Kazakhstan. I'll check my broth and cook the vegetables. From vegetables, we need potatoes. Here's our fresh potato, celery, and I very much love the half-bitter pepper. So I'll take 1 pot of pepper as well. Peel potatoes and cut them into slices. I usually cut the potatoes in big dices for the fish soup. A potato like this, I usually cut into 7 or 8 pieces. So when we set the table, I'll put only 2 potato wedges onto each plate, a couple of peppers, a pair of fish fillets, and our broth. Finish with potatoes, now cut it into slices. Chop it first into quarters and each quarter cut into slices. Now cut each quarter into another 3 slices. Potatoes are sliced, and I'm taking pepper now. We remove all the seeds from pepper. We wash it and slice it in rings. It is desirable for the pepper to be half bitter, half hot. Then your fish soup will have a unique piquant flavor and taste. There is not much celery needed, and I will also cut it in large pieces. Divide the stock into 4 parts. Also add it all to our vegetables. I'm finished with vegetables and now I'll start with our fish, which will be added to the second broth. It's snake heads. The head needs to be removed. It is a very meaty fish, so the fillets for our fish soup will be enough. We remove all the guts neatly without damaging them. Snakeheads are fascinating fish. It is a predatory fish and they can reach 1 meter in size and weigh up to 10 kilograms. Imagine what a big and exciting fish it is. I removed the guts of the fish and now it must be rinsed under a stream of running water. The fish is washed. Now extract the fillets from it, which means we cut off the ribs. The skin of the snakehead is dense so that it will fall off the fillet. We just cut the skin on the back and then cut fillets from the ribs. The head and the ridge, and on the ridge, by the way, there will still be a lot of meat. You can cook it again. Use them for the first broth of your next fish soup. I cut our fillets off the ribs. Please note, a sufficient number of fillets on this fish is very easily removed from the ridge. Here's the ridge, which, as I told you, can use the second time for the fish soup. This is a very fleshy ridge, and it will be a pity to throw it away. I add it back to the cauldron. Fillet. Make a small incision and lead the knife along the skin. The sharper the knife, the more interesting and better you can make it. Here's our snakehead fillet. We do the same with the second part of the carcass. Wash fillet from the scales and cut into small pieces. Now we're cutting the fish. These are the 2 centimeters pieces we have. This is enough. Our fish soup has already boiled, so I'll go, strain the broth, add vegetables, fish and our dressing. It is time to add the potatoes, vegetables and rice into our broth. By the way, Balkhash fishermen also add barley, millet, corn and rice to the fish broth. Today we cook with rice. We put rice together with potatoes, but fish, dressing and sauce we're going to add a little bit later. Special fish soup according to the author's recipe. For the first broth. For the basis of the soup, the first broth, clean the Volgazander from the guts and put whole carcasses into salted water. Add peeled onions, carrots, ginger, seasoned with peppercorns and bay leaf, cook until tender. Periodically, remove the foam. Next, catch carcasses of boiled fish and vegetables. Cut the fish on the fillets and discard the bones. Strain the broth. I have separated the fillets from the fish, from the bony fish that we added for the first time. Removed all the bones. Now I take spices, raw fillets, our dressing and go to the cauldron. We will now bring the broth to taste and add the remaining ingredients. Tomato dressing for the fish soup. To dress, strain fish broth, grate tomato, garlic and curd. Add butter and allow the mixture to brew. Our fish soup is boiling and everything is cool. 10 minutes before potatoes and rice are cooked, we add the fillet of the snakehead. Immediately fill the soup with our dressing. Now I will show you what a beautiful color this soup is getting. We mix it. Look at this tenderly pink broth with an incredible smell. Garlic is giving out its flavor too. I can smell gorgeous fish and potatoes. The fish soup must be salted, and the main thing is not to oversalt it. The fish soup loves salt. That's it, and we'll leave it until the moment our rice has doubled in size and opened up. Then the fish soup will be completely ready and we'll set the table. For the second broth, peel the potatoes and dice into cubes. Peel and cut celery and half bitter pepper. Clean snakeheads from bones, skins, fins, tail and head. Cut the fillets off and chop it finely. In a boiling fish broth, add potatoes, celery and pepper. Let it boil, add the washed rice. Cover and cook for 5 minutes. Then add the fresh fillet of snakehead, pour the tomato dressing and cook until the potatoes are ready. In the hot fish soup, add the prepared fillet of fish from the first broth. The fish soup came to Kazakhstan from Russian cuisine, but today we've prepared Kazakh fish soup from fresh Balkhash fish according to my recipe. Discover new tastes together with our project and enjoy your meal.